Here now, the Congresswoman Julie Johnson, Democrat from Texas. Welcome, Congresswoman. What about that? You do 60-day argument. They say, nope, doesn't apply here.
Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous. We still have ships over there. They still want missiles from over there. They still want funding from Congress. The war has not been resolved. Last time I've seen, I haven't heard details of a truce or a peace agreement or anything of the sort. This is just yet Trump recognizing that he's not in compliance with the law, and he's trying to toe tap his way around it, which he usually does. But rest assured, if he tries to do one more thing militarily, he has to come to Congress. The Trump administration has not been in compliance with the law with respect to this war.
The specific argument from Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, was, quote, I don't think we have an active kinetic military bombing, firing or anything like that. So right now we're trying to broker a peace, and I'd be very reluctant to get in front of the administration in the midst of these sensitive negotiations, so we'll have to see how that plays out. And then the president sent the letter saying, what I just said. He said that it's basically been terminated. What I heard you say is that that might be okay for now, but if he decides to go back in any way, shape, or form, then he has to come to Congress. So is it actually okay for now not to?
Well, it's like a chicken and the egg argument, right?
Yeah.
The reality of it is, this president launched an illegal war against Iran and has made all kinds of threats. Does that mean if he, tweets at the middle of the AM, if we have another 2 a.m., psychotic tweet about Iran and the Hormuz and how we're going to, shoot our neighbor ships and, do all this stuff, I look at that as part of a war effort. So we'll see what he's going to actually do. The reality of it is only Congress has the power to declare war. He submitted a budget, a request for Congress to fund things. That has not happened yet. I presume that if his statements are true, then he doesn't need that money anymore. Maybe we could go back to funding SNAP or funding health care in this country.
Yeah, I know a number of SNAP benefits for people, expire today around the country in some states. One of the things that's interesting, I don't know if you heard it, but we had a kind of an extended discussion there in our earlier, when our panel was on about kind of the future of the Democratic Party. And you're in a unique position as a Democrat. I know you don't want to be in that position, but because of the new map in Texas, you're running against a fellow Democrat in the runoff, and Colin Allred. So what would you say, first of all, about that race? Let's talk about that first. Like, why should the voters, Democratic voters in Texas, pick you? They have to choose one. It's either you or Allred. And then maybe a wider comment on the party. But why you, not Congressman Allred?
Well, sure. We have a lot of support in this race, but I think the way I'm going to answer this question, I think really goes to the broader question as well.
Okay.
For Democrats to continue to win in this country, we have to stay true to our values. We can't flip-flop. We can't change positions because it's politically convenient, and that's exactly what Colin Allred did. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have so much support. If you look at immigration, for example, this administration has consistently tried to erode constitutional protections of due process and innocent before proven guilty and being convicted of a crime before being deported, and Colin Allred voted to change that standard to merely an accusation. And that's not the Democratic values. He's abdicated Democratic values. He's flip-flopped on things because he was trying to run for the Senate, and that doesn't bode well. It doesn't, breed trust in Democratic voters. Democrats, in order to win, for me to win in this race, which I think I'm going to do, you have to stay true to what you say. You got to mean for something and stand for something. And that's what I think, to your prior panel, that's what they were saying. You got to mean for something, stand to something, and
not
be consistent.
Just anti-Trump.
That's right. You got to stand for your values. And the voters in this race understand that I have consistently been a strong, stalwart Democrat for decades now. I don't waver based on political convenience, whereas my opponent flip-flops all the time on a variety of things based on who he's talking to. And people see that, and that doesn't breed trust for Democratic voters in a single race or even in the broader context.
Congresswoman, thanks for coming on again. The Congresswoman from Texas, Democrat Julie Johnson.